Hello everyone, welcome to our R&T Agriculture and the Environment lesson. Today's topic will be looking at establishing and maintaining a container garden. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to brainstorm possible solutions to establish and maintain a container garden, discuss the benefits of container gardening, create possible designs for a container garden in a real or imagined space of given dimensions, and 4, to select from a range of plants the most appropriate plants for container gardening. While many families are living in homes with small yard space, there is still the need for them to grow a number of different plant species for food, medicine, and recreation. But boys and girls, what is container gardening? This is the practice of growing plants for medicine, recreation, and food in a container. This is usually enclosed and portable. This may be done using various materials, shapes, and sizes. Let us look at some solutions for establishing a container garden. Firstly, what do you have at home that could be used to grow crops? Do you have plastic bottles? Do you have tires? Do you have animal feed bags? Do you have flower pots? Do you have drums? Do you have any buckets? Let us look at this activity. Get a piece of paper and let's start writing. Make a list of all the containers at your house, especially the ones that are not being used. Are you finished? Do you have soda bottles? Do you have paint pans? Do you have empty chicken or pig feed bags? Do you have old tires? Do you have old refrigerator? Do you? Write down all that you have that are not being used. How to set up your garden? Container gardens can be set up using different approaches. This can be vertical, horizontal, diagonal, curved, or a combination. This is determined by the availability of space, types of containers, or preference of the gardener or farmer. Boys and girls, what are some reasons for establishing a container garden? 1, limited land space. 2, reduction of labor or work. 3, reduced pest. 4, better use of water. 5, it is less expensive. Designing a container garden. Now it is important that we are able to design our container garden based on our containers available, the plants that are suitable for the containers, the layout of the container based on the light and the space, the maturity period of the plant. Let us look at some of the resources that are needed. We will need seeds, we'll need seedlings, rhizomes, plant cuttings, soil, potting medium, water, manure, or compost. Also, we'll need a list of all the tasks, a schedule for carrying out our tasks, various appropriate containers. We'll need our knife, polybags, measuring tape or ruler, watering cans, water and hose, and spade, and fork, fertilizer, detergent, and spray bottle. Now, these are some of the resources that we will need. Our containers, plastic bottles. We have our old paint pan. We have flowering pots. We have our bucket. We also have our watering can that can be used as a container. Can you think of any way by which you can make this watering can into a suitable container to grow crops? Think about it. Also, we have our hand fork, we have our hand spade, we have our secateur for our cuttings, we also have our spray pan to get rid of all our pests, we also have our respirator to protect us against harmful chemicals. Now, these are some of the containers and tools that we will use throughout the next couple of weeks. I hope that you are looking forward to this. Let us look at some sample container gardens. In this, we have our cucumber being grown in a bucket. We also have tomatoes growing in a bucket. Let us look at these plastic bottles that are laid horizontally with our escallion. Also, plastic bottles that are laid out vertically with pak choy or lettuce. These are old tires that are used to grow cabbage, escallion, sweet peppers, callaloo. We also have our egg trays that can be used for our seedling preparations. We can sow our seeds in the egg trays and transplant them afterwards. Let us look at our bags. We can use the same feeding bags that your mother and father use to feed the chickens or the pigs. We can grow sweet potatoes, we can grow cucumbers, we can grow yam. All sorts of crops can be grown in our bags. We also have our baskets that we can grow tomatoes, sweet peppers, we can grow our lettuce, we can grow pak choy, we can grow our cabbages. Now, before we get into planting, we need to select the appropriate plants for the appropriate containers. So, almost all plants can be grown in a container. However, selecting the most appropriate plant for each container is very important. The first thing to consider is the size of the container and the possible size of the mature plant. The second thing to consider is the part of the plant that will be used. Some plants you use the roots, some plants you use the stem, some plants you use the leaves, others you use the fruits. For example, the roots of a sweet potato plant is what is commonly consumed versus the fruit of a tomato plant. Examples: a feed bag is an ideal container for sweet potato, carrots, yam, and ginger. The space available for the roots to grow is more than sufficient, while a tomato or a sweet pepper plant is ideal for small buckets or pots, as the space available for root growth is moderate. Escallion and thyme is best suited for plastic bottles as they require small space for growth. Isn't that interesting, students? Activity. Now you will take out a blank leaf. So using the blank leaf, you're going to design a garden taking into consideration containers available at your home and suitable plants for each container. Make sure to indicate the measurement between each container, also the size of the container, so that you can estimate the volume of soil to be used. Feel free to try various designs. Share with your family members and friends using WhatsApp and other medium. At the end of your design, create a list of all the tools and materials to be used. Also, you're going to create a plan, a list of all your activities to be done. Your plan of action must include all the activities that you're going to do over the period of time, from your design straight down to your harvesting and marketing, if that is possible. Now, we're going to look at growing media for plants. In selecting the most appropriate media for your container, the following must be considered. 1, it must be free from pests and diseases as best as possible. It must have adequate water retention and drainage. Also, it must have adequate levels of organic matter or humus. It must also have sufficient levels of nutrients. This is a good example of a growing medium for plants. Now, if you look at it, it is pretty loose, meaning it will have good drainage. Also, if you look at the color, it is slightly dark. Therefore, it's a good indication that there's high nutrients level. Also, there are additives to the soil. You can go in your backyard and find different soils at different locations in your backyard. You can then check to see the color, the odor, the texture, the feel, and to see if it would be a good soil for your plants. In lessons to come, we'll look at various growing media and to see which one is best for your plants. Now, we're going to look at preparing your planting material. It is important that your planting material is prepared in the right way. Now, there are various types of planting materials. So, planting materials may come from seeds, such as your corn, your okra, your cucumber, your carrot. Also, may come from your seedlings or suckers, such as your tomato, sweet pepper, sorrel, banana. It may also come from your vine cuttings or slip, like your sweet potato. It may also come from tubers, like your yam. Also may come from rhizome, like your ginger. It is therefore important that we select the right planting material based on what we want. Now, this is an activity that you're going to do for me now. Think about a plant you want to grow and select 2 possible containers to grow them in. You're going to think about the plant, think about the planting material, think about the container, think about the size of the containers. Provide possible reasons for your selection. What are some of the reasons for selecting those containers? Share your responses. You can share with your friends, with family members, or even your teachers. Share your responses and let us discuss some of those possible solutions. Our next lesson will be focusing on preparation of planting materials. We'll be looking at preparing seedlings. Now, what I want you to do for me is to get some old egg trays. I want you to get those old egg trays and get some soil that you have found in your backyard. Also, I want you to see if you can get any seeds that are found in your house. From your tomatoes, from your sweet peppers, anything that you can find that may have a seed. What we will do in our next class is to look at how we are going to prepare our seed trays so that we can get our seedlings from our seeds. These are some examples of how we are going to prepare our seed trays using our egg trays or seed trays. Prepare your materials and tools for the next lesson. Be sure to collect your containers, in particular egg trays, to prepare your seedlings. Until next time, see you soon.